It's like seeing the best acts from around the world go up against each other. It's called AGT, I know that. That moment will always be with me. Simon Cowell said that there is a story behind the fame of Solange Kardinaly. Not many people know a girl who grew up in a circus and now brings the magic of her family to the world stage. Simon had seen a lot of shows, but he said this one was different. Solange was more than just a participant in his eyes, she was an example of hard work and faith in art. The story behind those few words will change the way you see her. During the semifinals of Season 20 of America's Got Talent on September 17, 2025, Solange Kardinaly came on stage and the stage lights went out on NBC. As soon as she raised her hand to say hello, just as the music for Murder on the Dance Floor started, the whole room went quiet. It was time for her quick change magic show, which had earned her the title of Master. Solange changed her costume 6 times in just 2 minutes, going from shiny black to radiant gold by mixing smoke and light in a way that made each move feel like a blink of magic. Every layer of cloth was gone. The audience was amazed at how accurately each color showed, right down to the second. So well did the costumes, music, and lights work together that almost no one could point out the exact times when the characters changed. People in the front rows leaned forward to make sure they had seen something that couldn't be true. As the last note ended, fireworks went off in the background, and Solange bowed. Everyone in the hall stood up. Simon Cowell, who was known for being very serious, was the first person to stand up. Then he smiled and looked at Solange for a moment. "Live on air, incredible, 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 you never fail to amaze us," he said. "So amazing, so amazing." According to NBC Insider, this was one of the few standing ovations of the season. The production team called it one of the season 20's most full moments. Organizers said yes. That Solange had been asked to come back to honor the contestant who had the biggest effect on viewers in season 19, the one who changed how people thought about quick changes. Not many people knew that Simon got to meet Solange Kardinaly's family after the show. The meeting was short and spur of the moment, right after the lights went out. The people in her family looked calm and simple, like they had spent their whole lives on stage. Heard that the family had been in the circus and magic business for 3 generations during the talk. "I come from a long line of magicians. When I was 4 years old, my parents took me to my first performance. They told him that Solange grew up in an old show tent where there were times when only a few people were there. But the show went on all the time. It taught her to be disciplined and to respect the stage from a very young age. Her father said that he only taught her the basics and that she learned on her own how to make people feel things." Simon paid attention and got why Solange's performance was so appealing. It came from a real artistic background, not just personal skill. It doesn't have any magic to it. It's the result of hard work and a real love for the stage that began when they were young. "I just thought Solange doesn't just have skill when I left," Simon said with great respect. "She brings a cultural depth to her work that few people still do in this day and age." No one saw it coming, the family she grew up with, surrounded by the sounds of an old circus. Every move and flash of light on stage had a connection to that place. From Portugal, the trip began, following a custom that has been passed down through generations and is based on heritage. The city of Leiria in Portugal was the place where Solange Kardinaly was born. There were drum beats from the circus and the dim light from the stage curtains. Her family had been magicians for 3 generations. The story started with her grandfather, a traveling performer who took his trunk full of props to European fairs and taught his son and then Solange how to do what he did. She grew up with costume change acts playing in the background. At night, she watched her father practice with smoke powder and pieces of fabric, and in the mornings, she learned from her grandma how to sew every seam on a costume so it would never come apart during a show. Solange first went on stage when she was 4 years old. She wasn't the star, she was her dad's little helper, holding the scarf, pulling the string, and looking at the crowd. Those few seconds set her on the path she would follow for the rest of her life. Later, her public profile said, "Born into a traditional circus family, she is the 3rd generation of magicians." In the world of magic, family history is very important, and having the Kardinaly name means carrying the weight of a long-standing practice. Solange spent hours learning how to hide a scarf or change clothes quickly without anyone noticing while her friends went to school. For her, magic wasn't just a show, it was a way to talk to her family. She started making her own outfits when she was a teenager, trying out different thin fabrics, hidden zippers, and layered structures to find the best way to make them easy to change into. That early interest turned into the technical base of her whole work. Solange was the first woman in 26 years to win first place at the Almacefes Magic Festival in Spain in 2018. She had been acting all over Europe for years. Critics said it was a symbolic turning point because it was the first time a woman artist had been given an award in a field that has usually been given to men. The award showed how good she was and put Solange on the map of magic around the world. In a talk after getting the award, she talked about her childhood. "I was born into a family and tradition of circus performers." The simple phrase brought back memories of crowded caravans, shows in tents, and the hard work of 3 generations to keep the craft alive. Arias José Jiménez Rodríguez is a Spanish magician who was known for big stage shows. Solange met him in the early 2010s. As business partners and life partners, they started working together. They worked together as Arcadio and Solange, a team that mixed classical magic with modern fashion and put on fast-paced, visually stunning shows. For more than 10 years, they went on tours in Europe, playing in cities like Madrid, Paris, Zagreb, and Lisbon. They also went to Asia and performed at international festivals and on Disney Cruise Line ships. It was said that each show was like a visual conversation between music and magic. By 2022, Solange was a well-known name at magic events in Europe. She was often introduced by organizers as the female artist who represented the new crop of Portuguese magicians. Behind the beautiful picture were thousands of hours of practice, often in small backstage areas with just her and an old mirror that belonged to her grandpa. Solange taught the world how to make quick changes from the small stage her family had. But the event that changed everything did not happen in Europe or the United States. It happened on an Italian TV show. Because of that Guinness World Record, Solange Kardinaly became known all over the world. A turning point for the world will happen in Milan, Italy, on March 2, 2023. There were millions of people in the arena and watching live on TV who saw Lo Show de Record. Solange Kardinaly and Arcadio José Jiménez Rodríguez took the stage under bright golden lights. Through 25 outfit changes in 1 minute, they were getting ready for the moment that would make history. As soon as the host was done introducing everyone, the timer went off and the whole room went quiet. The music started. Solange moved all the time, and her red dress turned white, then silver, and finally gold. Arcadio flicked the cloth flew with his hand, and in an instant, a new outfit showed up. The whole thing happened in exactly 60 seconds. When the timer ran out, a Guinness World Records official stood up and raised the board that showed 25 confirmed costume changes. This set a new world record. Solange became a worldwide media star right away after the event. In headlines across Europe, she was called the artist who stood still time and the master of quick change. One magazine in Italy called it a show that is hard to follow, and another in France said that Solange Kardinaly had turned magic into a language of rhythm and light. Not only was breaking the Guinness record a professional feat, it was also a big step in her career. Short videos of Solange's performance went viral after that night, getting tens of millions of views on social media. It was offered to her to appear at important magic festivals in Germany, Portugal, Singapore, and South Korea. Not only did Solange perform, she did more. She used this to send a message about the creativity in quick change art, stressing that behind the speed is strict discipline and complete trust between the two actors. In another talk, she said in a few words, "Speed doesn't mean anything if there's no story behind it." Because of their success, Solange and Arcadio were able to sign long-term traveling deals in Asia and Europe. They were asked to work with big stage producers and go to fashion shows and art galas. In particular, at the end of 2023, the producers of America's Got Talent called her to ask her to try out for season 19. From Milan in 2023, that spark spread across countries and took Solange to even bigger stages, like the United States, where she would make new magic in the coming year. Taking over the grand stage. America's Got Talent started its 19th season in May 2024, with thousands of contestants from all over the world. Backstage, there was a long line of performers waiting. Solange Kardinaly quietly changed her first dress for her act. She had been singing for more than 20 years. That's the first time she'd been in front of an American crowd, where everything is taped. Each movement is looked at closely with every glance. The tryout was on May 28. As the first sounds of Material Girl played, Solange walked out on stage holding a big fan. She was wearing a pale pink dress. The audience cheered loudly when the act was over. The judges looked at each other. Simon Cowell, who is known for having high standards, took the mic and said, "Live on air, best quick change act ever." The cheers got louder. A thumbs up from Howie Mandel. Sofia Vergara laughed happily. And Heidi Klum kept nodding her head. There was a yes from all four judges. Solange smiled as she walked off the stage. She would later say it was the best moment of her life. Following that, tens of millions of people shared the video of her act. People on social media called her the wonder from Portugal in thousands of comments. And the queen of changing things quickly. Producers quickly confirmed that Solange was one of the season's best contestants after the video went viral. By the semifinals in the middle of September, Solange had come back with a new routine that was sure to kill on the dance floor, a more modern electronic version with laser lights and smoke effects. She showed up in all white and stood in the middle of a circle stage. Her dress changed from gold to red to black to shimmering silver as the music started. Every time she spun her body, a layer of cloth disappeared. The act was planned out like a dance. Simon rarely said nice things about other people, but that one word was enough to make even the toughest judge like Solange. At the press conference after the show, reporters asked Simon why he responded so strongly. He just said, "She's not just fast, she's perfect." Season 19 came to an end on the evening of September 24. Solange was the first Portuguese act in the show's history to get that far. She did a special version that mixed the best parts of her previous rounds with pop beat, lightning-fast quick changes, and the refined elegance of European stagecraft. Solange bowed as the last piece of fabric fell and the lights came on in the whole theater. There was a short pause before the crowd exploded like a wave. When Simon Cowell took the mic, he looked straight at the stage and was stunned. Solange left the stage to a standing ovation at the end of season 19. Millions of people watched a short video of her leaving the backstage area and bowing to the team. She said it was never about winning in her last talk of the season. By putting your whole soul into it, it was meant to show what magic can be. Not only did she win the competition, but it was also the start of a new part of her work. People thought Solange's journey was over when the lights went down for the ending. But that was just the start of a brighter time for her. She was no longer a competitor, she was an artist making the world a better place. Outside of the spotlight. Solange went to Paris in October 2024 to receive the Mandric d'Or, which is the highest honor in the magic world. It's sometimes called the Oscar of Magic, and only artists who have really affected people around the world can win it. The event took place at Le Theatre Bobino, a fancy venue that has hosted events honoring famous people like David Copperfield and Juan Tamariz. When the name Solange Kardinaly was called out, everyone in the room cheered. She smiled as she took the crystal prize on stage and said, "Magic is not just illusion. Making people think that anything is possible, even for a second, is an art." People saw that moment as her creative manifesto, short, humble, and very powerful. Any French news outlet that talked about the event afterward called her the woman who brought quick change to the height of art. Early in 2025, Solange went back to her home country of Portugal to put on 2 special shows at Casino Sol Verde Espino. This was the same stage where she had helped her father perform magic when she was 10 years old. She came back as the main act this time. All the tickets were gone in a few days, and there were hundreds of people waiting outside to buy tickets that had already been sold. People who were there said that after the last curtain, the crowd stood and cheered for 3 minutes straight. She had an impact well beyond Europe. Solange brought her magic to the US that summer and performed at Magic Live Las Vegas, a yearly event where the best magicians from around the world get together. She did a special act called The Rhythm of Change, which was an improved version of the quick change routines that made her popular on America's Got Talent. They said it was a perfect mix of skill music, as well as dramatic feeling. Right after that, Solange joined the theater team on Disney Cruise Line, a high-end show for people all over the world. During the summer, she put on more than 30 sold-out shows with Arcadio Jose Jimenez Rodriguez. Each show was a mix of fantasy dance and lighting design, and the most important part was the quick changes. The best thing that happened in 2025 was when Solange's full-length stage show, My Magical World, had its official launch. She directed and choreographed the show herself. She not only changed costumes, but she also sang live while telling the story of how she went from being a little circus girl in Leiria to being a world-famous artist. The show started in Lisbon and then went to Paris, Madrid, and New York. People in the audience said it felt like a trip where time flowed through every movement of the fabric. Yahoo Entertainment says that at that point, Solange was at the top of her game and in high demand all over the world. The newspaper said that not many artists had kept up their creative output after leaving America's Got Talent. Everyone in the music business wanted Solange Kardinaly to be on their stage from 2024 to 2025. This time was known as her golden era. The thing that stood out the most was that there was no trouble, legal conflict, or health problem during this time. Solange kept working very hard, sticking to a strict performance schedule and keeping an eye on every part of the production herself. Her team told them that she still picked out the fabrics for her outfits, designed them, and practiced every day, just like she did when she was a young artist in Portugal. When she talked about her trip in interviews, Solange kept her cool, but her eyes often showed quiet pride. She didn't talk much about her titles or fame. Instead, she focused on keeping magic alive in a world that seems too real. That was what made her unique. An artist who changed all the time never lost who she was. During this time, Solange Kardinaly became a worldwide icon of craft that can change quickly. Not just the best artist, but also the face that changes the way people think about the art. Because of their success, they were asked to come back to America's Got Talent the following season as a special guest act. This made the journey from contestant to famous artist a full circle. From being born in the circus in Leiria, Solange Kardinaly went on to break a world record, take the America's Got Talent stage, win the prestigious Mandrake Door, and get a standing ovation from Simon Cowell. The words "never fail to amaze us" meant more to Solange than just praise. They showed fire, mastery, and unwavering faith in the power of performance. Leave a like and share if you think the stage can still hold real magic. The journey of Solange Kardinaly. So that more people can learn about this amazing art form. If you want to see more stories from behind the scenes, where skill, hard work, and bravery make moments we'll never forget, subscribe to the channel. And you, the people who watch America's Got Talent. Do you still remember how you felt when Simon Cowell praised Solange? Leave a comment below and tell us about a time when you were sure magic existed.